taken it or demons taken it? No. You can't lose your salvation, he says. Not now, not ever. Not in death, not in life. Not by holy angels taking it or demons taking it. No. Impossible. No dimension of time, no being, and no state of being.
You may understand that God is holy, without sin, that you're a sinner and that the penalty of sin is death, and you may have repented of your sin and turned in faith to Christ who paid for your sins. And yet, with all of that, have you ever found yourself, from time to time, doubting the security of your salvation? Well, be encouraged, because even though what you think about salvation might change, salvation itself doesn't. That's the theme of John MacArthur's message today and the thrust of our current study called Guaranteed for Eternity here on Grace to You. So join John in the book of Romans as he begins the lesson.
Romans chapter 8. In Jeremiah chapter 31 and verse 3, God said to his people Israel, I have loved thee with an everlasting love. And that is how God expresses his love here in Romans 8. It is an everlasting love. Watch verse 35. What shall separate us from the love of Christ? What's going to do that to you? What's going to pull you out? Well, let's look at the list. How about tribulation? It's an interesting word. Thlipsis in the Greek. It's when you're cornered and out of options. It has to do with tremendous pressure. How about distress? That's another interesting word. That has to do more with inward difficulty. The word in the Greek, stenochoria, two words, narrow and space, and it means to be caught in a narrow space, to be hemmed in with no way out. You're out of options. And I think it has perhaps to do with temptation, where like in 1 Corinthians 10:13, it says that we're going to be taken through. The only way out is through. When you're in the middle of temptation, God will make a way of escape that you may be able to what? Not get out of it, but what? Bear it. How about persecution? Diogmos. Abuse for the testimony of Jesus Christ. Physical or mental suffering at the hands of those who reject Christ. Can that do it? How about famine? To go without food, to be utterly deprived, to be slammed in a jail cell and left to die because of your faith in Jesus Christ. How about nakedness? That means not literally nudity, but to be without any clothes, to be so poor and destitute you can hardly clothe your own body. You have no food, you have no clothing. How about peril? He uses the word peril there, which basically means to be exposed to treachery, to plots of Paul, who was always being plotted against. And the sword is Machaira, the assassin's dagger, and it means death. I mean, all of these things are very heavy things. Outward rejection, animosity, and bitterness. Inward temptation and